University of Portland men's head cross-country coach Rob Connor. And Rob, thanks for joining us here this afternoon. Talk about the season so far. It's been a good one for you. A couple weeks ago, Roy Griak, you guys had quite the performance.
Well, it was a breakout performance. We're a little bit used to doing that on the men's side. I felt like we had a top 10 national type team this year ourselves. Women's team went into that thinking we hope to make nationals. Well, all of a sudden, with the performance of the women's team, they just vaulted themselves into the top 10 in the national rankings. We had a great meet. It was super exciting. Men won the race first. We planned to do that. Women's team wanted to place as high as possible, and half an hour after we won, all of a sudden they won too. And this is a big meet. It's 30 teams, and women's race had 3 top 10 ranked teams in the country at it. So, it's an early season meet, but it was a major invitational, and we're kind of calling that the greatest day in pilot history so far. So
yeah, Coach Connor, as you mentioned, really great performances from both the men's and women's teams at Roy Griak. What other races are you looking forward to this season?
Okay, so coming up in 2 weeks, we've got the biggest and most difficult meet in the country. That's the Wisconsin Invitational. So the Griak meet had 10 top 30 teams at it out of the 30. This next meet for the men at Wisconsin is going to have 20 of the top 25 teams. Okay, it's the most difficult meet in the country. You can only run your top 7, and it's about 35 teams at the meet. The year we took third at the Nationals, we took third at this meet, and felt very good about that. In 2 weeks, the women's team will be going to the NCAA pre-national meet. That's the meet that's hosted by Indiana State and Terre Haute on the site of the NCAA championship. So that meet will have Oregon and Stanford's women. Those are the 2 teams ranked right in front of us in the national poll. So it's going to be a great test for our women. That's going to be a larger field, probably about 40, 45 teams, and a top 5 finish at that meet would allow for the at-large points to be accumulated, and so the goal for both teams is probably a top 5 finish in this next monster opportunity we have. So,
and you mentioned your podium finish from a couple years ago. How does your current squad stack up against that team, and who are some of your key guys this year?
Yeah, well, I think it's a very similar team. We're probably deeper than we were in 14 when we finished third at the Nationals. But we don't have that front low stick that Scott Fauble was. So that's kind of the difference. Other than that, it's a very similar type team. So, I told the guys at the start of the year, my goal is to win a national championship. They might not have bought it, but I wanted that kind of effort all season, and we've started off 1 for 1. So you have to go on that day and run your best. You have to have 5 guys do that. It's not as easy as it sounds. So we'll be one of the teams fighting for that opportunity. And to be honest, as we've looked across the country, there are some other teams that are equal to ourselves, but there's nobody that's clearly better than us. So the goals are extremely high. I think, again, the women's team just wanted to make the Nationals. Now they're thinking top 10 as well, and that would be just huge for the University of Portland if we had 2 teams finish in the top 10 at the NCAA championships this year in the fall.
That would be huge. You mentioned the women's team. You have a familiar face on the women's team this year. Your daughter, Lacey, freshman here at UP, running for the Pilots. How's that? Excited to have her here in the Portland Purple?
Absolutely. Couldn't ask for a better opportunity for her. She's a freshman and redshirting this year, and we think that she has potential in the long run. I think she's off to a good start. She's run first 2 races this year. She ran personal best, so couldn't be happier to have her hanging around with people like Parks Kendrick, who's a super mentor for Lacey. So
very good to hear. And quickly before you leave, I want to talk about Yuli Steidel, inducted in the UP Athletics Hall of Fame last night. What a special night that was last night, wasn't it?
It's fantastic. It was a great overall showcase of pilot athletics. Certainly couldn't be more proud of Uli. He was one of our members of our first ever and only ever regional championship team. That team was ranked 4th in the nation. First time we went to the national meet, and that was in 1993. So he was one of the 2 main guys on that team, and was for the next 4 years. So we had a great night last night, and certainly a deserving honor for Uli.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rob Connor, for joining us here this afternoon. Good luck the rest of the fall.
Appreciate it. Go Pilots.